Think we're going live. And let's see if we've got a guitar, shall we? I didn't check my sound so thoroughly, so if there are problems, please let me know in the comments. Just let me know if there's any problems with the sound. I want to hear from you. Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Postcards. I'm your host, Jenny Van West, coming to you live in the Postcard studio where it's always 70 and sunny. And we have had some seriously frigid weather here, like a lot of people. I know it's nothing if you're up in Canada, but let me tell you, here in Portland, Maine, when it gets down in the single digits for a couple of days, we feel like it's winter. So it's been feeling like winter here. And we had some snow and a couple snowflakes this morning. It was nice and lovely out. Little respite from the cold, though. It's going to be about 30 today out there, but here it's always 70 and sunny. I'm so happy everybody's with us. I have a very special guest today coming in live from New York City, but first we got to sing the song. When you're down and you're blue and you don't know what to do, just write a postcard. When you're feeling fine and there's something on your mind, just write a postcard. Don't you know Grandma loves this show? She listens every time from North Moldova. You don't need a reason. You don't need a rhyme to write a postcard to P.O. Box 1252. Just write a postcard. 04098. Just write a postcard to Westbrook, Maine. 'Cause Grandma loves this show. Well, welcome to Postcards, everybody. I'm super excited to be broadcasting, starting out this new year in a new part of the Postcard studio. I was feeling a little bit like I was feeling a little stuck in my corner, even though it was a really nice corner. And I promised the wall of love. So look, we're making some progress here. I was working on it yesterday. We're going to have a new mail section here. We got new mail that was read on Monday, and then there's some more mail that came in. And I even have a package to open that might have, it's about the size and the shape of a bunch of LPs. That's going to be Monday. So if you're new to us, write us a postcard, P.O. Box 1252, Westbrook, Maine, 04098. We'll read it on the show on Mondays and celebrate you. And so send us a postcard. The show is PG-11 though. So if it's past PG-11, we're not going to read it on the air. But why would you put that on a postcard anyway? For everybody to see. It's sort of like shouting across the room, sending a postcard, because everybody enjoys it. The mailman enjoys it. Everybody in between reads your postcard. Seriously, that's what people do. So, let's see. I don't know if the mailman reads your postcard. There's a new postcard topic every Monday. That's a new thing this week. And maybe we're going to do this for a couple of weeks. Dreams, goals, resolutions. There's no rush, people, but do put some ideas down. If you hate it, if you love it, if you got some and you want it read on the air to help keep you accountable, send us some notes on a postcard. P.O. Box 1252, Westbrook, Maine, 04098. And before I get carried away and all that kind of stuff, let's actually do the show that we came here to do, which is a very dear friend of mine, someone first person to actually book me in New York City way back in 2014, thanks to our dear friend Carol Thomas, who's a wonderful singer-songwriter down in Queens and guitarist. So anyway, Gus Rodriguez is here, also goes by Silbin Sandovar. You might know him that way as a performer. That's the stage name. We got stuff to talk about, talent buying. We got songs, we got stuff and things. And so I'm super excited that Gus is here. So without further ado, Gus, I'm bringing you on board. Let's see if I can do this. Let's hit the button. There we go. Good morning. You have to speak up. Let's see. Hang on a second. I can't quite hear you. There we are.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
It's great to be back on Postcards. This is my second time on this show. So
I forgot to mention that. Welcome back. You said yes twice, which really says something about you. I don't know what it says. So
good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you too. I just have to say also one little thing, when you came on Postcards last winter, everything was online. As I recall, it was like maybe it was I can't remember when it was exactly. This has been a very long couple of years and everything's kind of mushed together. So I know I've only been doing the show since last November of 2020. So it was somewhere in there, but you were doing live streams for LIC Bar, and you have such a great manner for that.
Oh, thank you.
And I just got really inspired, and it was part of what inspired me to do this. So I'm going to shut up now and let you say something.
No, it's really it's very touching. I didn't quite realize that. That's great.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's what happens when you live stream from the couch. So tell us what's going on in your world right now, Gus. What you up to? What's filling your days, and yeah, what's happening down there right now?
Oh, my little Omicron diary in a nutshell.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it kind of made things were sort of approaching normalish, and the Omicron thing struck, and it kind of rearranged things, let's say. So since then, right before Christmas, I actually caught it. I managed to elude catching the COVID, but I had a very mild case. I'm vaccinated, I'm boosted, all that stuff. So it was a mild case. The worst thing about it, Jenny, is I kind of lost my voice. I didn't have any cough. I didn't have any fever, no chills or runny nose, but I had kind of a laryngitic kind of head cold thing. It lasted a few days, but it wasn't,
wow.
That was the worst of it. It wasn't that bad, but I quarantined for Christmas and New Year's and stuff. So
wow. So you were did you even go out of your apartment during that time? Did you get out for walks?
Very little, unless I had to go for food or something to drink.
Right. Yeah. Right. So you were, and that was a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, probably something like that, or?
Well, I caught it. Was it about a week and a half or so before Christmas?
Right.
And I got it from performing, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of my musicians, I don't know about have it with you, Jenny, but a lot of my musician friends in New York, I feel like every other one of us got it.
Yeah.
Disproportionately to other people I know that are not in the music performing live music business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people in the bar business, restaurant, and musicians everybody was getting it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's just a lot of it in the air. And as you know, some people may not realize when you're singing, there's a lot of inhaling that goes on.
Yeah. It's an occupational hazard at this time to be a performer. Yeah. And I'm still, there's still gigs out there for people. I do a lot of, what we call cover gigs.
Yep. And you're very good at it, I bet.
Oh, thank you. And we still have, there's still some of those out there, but a lot of gigs are still there's a lot of hesitancy.
Yeah.
So at the moment, at LIC Bar, we've been doing Wednesday night shows there, but they're sort of, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? The artist will decide whether they're comfortable. So it's been 50-50. 1 week we'll do it. The next week, nobody wants to do it. And so it's sort of a week by week thing we're doing.
Yeah. And,
but I think we'll get past the worst of it by next month. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be having more regularly scheduled shows.
Yeah, I really do think that's coming because, with the number of people that are catching this variant, it's not going to have a lot of places to land.
Right.
As many places to land, and also especially among those of us who've had the privilege of vaccinations, like you were saying, you had to stay home, but you weren't that sick as things go. I'm sorry you lost your voice, and it's a wonderful voice, and I would love to hear a little bit of that. You ready? You want to do a song?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay. So what you got for us?
All right, we'll do one. I don't perform this that often. I don't think I perform it at all. I haven't performed this in a long time, but you can find this one on my record, Maria del Scorpion, you can find it on Spotify.
Okay, sweet.
That's the easiest way to find it, I suppose.
All right, cool. Gus Rodriguez here on Postcards.
Scratching my head, kicking myself. How did I let that one go by? Thinking instead of entirely something else. Why do I even bother to try? Well, you I hate it when I'm wrong, but I love it when you're right. Fumbling around, looking through drawers for something I just ought to know. Fumbling around big department stores, I just had nowhere else to go. And why am I so fortunate to be blessed by your keen wit and insight? I hate it when I'm wrong, but I love it when you're right. Now I can't put in poetry or even in a song how you make my heart light up when you're showing me I'm wrong. And tell me with your scarlet lips, eyes so bright they burn, show me up one more time, tell me how much more I need to learn. You know, when you correct a person, they get filled with scorn and spite. And I hate myself when I'm wrong, but I love you more when you're right. Promises kept, intentions are lost. I never felt this love before. Feeling inept and full of exhaust. What good am I anymore? And why am I so fortunate to be blessed by your keen wit and insight? I hate it when I'm wrong, but I love it when you're right.
All right. Gus Rodriguez, Silbin Sandovar, nice to have you here. You just sounded great, man. Sounded really
Thank you.
good. Yeah. I can't believe you lost your voice because it's back.
Oh, good. Yeah, that lasted for about 4 days or so.
Yeah. No
4
kidding.
days.
You know, listen, we got a couple people to say hello to. Erica White, first time listener. Nice to have you here. And every time, just about, I come around the corner, there's Diggy Cat saying good morning from California. Nice to see you here. And great to see you, Diggy and Erica. Glad you're here. And everybody else who's listening. A lot of people listen in the middle of the night when they can't sleep, that sort of thing. I get notes from people. So I always give a shout out to my Aunt Marjorie James, who's in Charlotte, North Carolina. She always listens in at some point. My dad, Jack Pettit. Let's see, my father-in-law, Jim Van West, my brother-in-law, Peter Van West from Rhode Island. Great to just say hello to everybody, all y'all who are listening, and leave us a comment and send us a postcard. So, and Emily Hansen's here, of course. Emily's here. So, you know, I want to just go straight to the strings and see what are you playing today? What's this guitar you got there? It's got a great sound.
Oh, it's a little Guild.
Yeah, is it?
Modern,
Tell me,
not too long, a couple years ago.
Is this one of the Westerly? Yeah,
What's
is it one of those? Is it a Westerly collection? One of the newer ones, or is it an older one?
No, it's just a it's a Troubadour.
Oh yes, these are great little guitars. It's got an awesome acoustic sound. Are you running it through anything? I'm sorry, I'm asking you a million.
Yeah, I'm running it through a little speaker. Yep.
Yeah, cool. It sounds really good.
Oh, thank you.
we first met actually in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, when you were booking for Spike Hill, big old club. And I came in there with my guitar. I was nervous as all get out. And you were just as nice as, actually, you weren't there that night. I think you had booked us, but you weren't there. But you book, LIC Bar in Long Island City, Queens. One of my very favorite venues in New York. You got a great hometown vibe, and it feels like when I go there, I feel like I'm getting a privilege of like stepping back into New York in like the 90s or 80s or something, because there's this confluence of people going on that just feels, I don't know, feels really good. So I know right now booking is a kind of a spare prospect right now because of Omicron and all the COVID stuff we've been going through. But if it's okay with you, I'd love to talk a little bit about that wonderful spot and how you got connected with it.
Well, I've been working at LIC Bar, which is in the Long Island City Bar.
Yeah.
Since about 2008.
Awesome.
And that happened only because I was working at another bar up the street called Dominique's Hoek. I was helping to run an open mic, which was kind of popular at the time. And finally that started to fizzle out. And then someone from the LIC Bar reached out to me and asked if I would do an open mic at LIC Bar. And I said, not really. I thought I wanted to try something different. So I'd be willing to work with you if you let me do full sets of artists,
right?
As opposed to an open mic. If you let me try that. I had never really done that before, but I wanted to do it. And they let me do it. They gave me the worst night of the week, which was Monday night. They said, make Monday better. Improve it. It's going to be at Monday night. And off we went. And it did pretty well, I guess. So I've been there for all these years since then.
Yeah. Guys, I think, let's see, I've played there twice. And the first time I played there was an evening. I can't remember which night of the week it was, but I was there with Carol Thomas. And then this is why I mean, when I walk in there, I feel like I'm in this parallel reality with New York of an earlier time somehow.
Well, the bar was built in 1929. So
it's been a bar all that time. Was it built?
Yeah, it's either been a bar or an abandoned building. The bar opened in 1929. And it has that look. There's a lot of original pieces, original woodworking and tin work still seen in the bar.
Yeah.
But it closed in sometime in the 1960s, and it was just sitting there abandoned until about 2005 or 6, I guess.
Oh, so really not that long before you came in.
What's that?
Just a couple years before you came
right,
in.
Yeah. And I started out, and to give credit where credit is due, there was a bartender, a woman named Kelly, who created the concept of live music at LIC Bar. It was not something that was baked in the business plan. It was just it was a vision of one of the bartenders who had she wasn't a musician. She just had great taste in music and knew a lot of great bands.
Yeah.
And she had the idea to use we have an outdoor space.
Yes, you do. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so we have an indoor and outdoor stage.
Yeah.
And she was her idea to do the outdoor thing. It was the first time live music was done at LIC Bar. So she created the whole outdoor stage experience. That was her vision. The owners just let her try it out, to see what, if it stuck to the wall. And it was and that's how I started out as a fan. I would go to see those shows, and I got it right away. I wanted, I would love to do something like this. Then it turned out she moved away, and she gave me the keys to the car, basically, or with her blessing, and also the owners hired me on. We started doing what we do now.
Yeah, very cool. Well, and it's like I'm not gonna make any promises, but I'm gonna try. I didn't do this before the show, but I am gonna try and pull up some photos of the venue, because it is beautiful. It is a beautiful place. You can go in there and have a beer and hear great music, and there's this in the summertime it's like a courtyard, really, that's attached behind. So there's this feeling of being in another world, really, like stepping in there.
It's very transportive, yeah.
It's very transportive. And so I want to say a quick, another good morning, Penny Joe Polis down in Austin, Texas. Great to see you here. And
hello, Nigel.
What's that?
I said, hello, Nigel.
Hello, Nigel. It's 20 minutes into the show. It's time for me to have a good long laugh. Anyway, I'm thinking there might be another song coming. What do you think, Gus? You ready to bring another song out? All right, what you got?
I sure am. All right, this sounds old, but it's something I came up with. Tell you I loved you. Along came summer, fall, winter, and spring. What did I lose? Just everything. All this time I could have had you by my side, but I just chose to sit and stall. What did I lose? Everything, that's all. I know I'll forget her if only I could. Just let her stay away for good. She was a friend who let me out to sea, who thought it would end the way it did between her and me. Love used to make me feel like I was 10 feet high. Now I don't feel quite so tall. What did I lose? Everything, that's all. Love used to make me feel like I was 100 feet high. Now I don't feel quite so tall. What did I lose? What did I lose? What did I lose? Everything, that's all. Everything, that's all. Everything, that's all. Everything, that's all.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. How you do? How's that feel to get those songs out and just not have to worry about anything?
It's really nice.
I know that sounds like a strange question, but that's just the question that you got.
Oh yeah, no, that's a very, very well aimed question.
Yeah, it's I just love that you and I have this in common. This is something that I've learned just having you on Postcards a couple of times, because usually when we interact in New York, either we don't see each other, it's all by messaging and all that kind of stuff, or I see you and you're you've got a million people talking to you doing your thing in the bar. But one thing we have in common is we both like to write songs that have that old vibe of one kind or another. I've noticed this, and I really appreciate that about our connection. And I'm curious about how for instance, when you write a song like that, how do you have like a whole analytical thing you've done with songwriting, or is it just from learning so many old songs over time that they just kind of pour out of you like that?
The latter.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the latter. No, the best. It's like anything. The best way to learn, in my opinion, is just by listening and getting under the hood of these songs. By playing them, running them through your body, like learning older songs that came before you, by great writers, people that knew how to do it. And I think something, in my opinion, I think that there's a certain, maybe me being a fogey, but I think there's songwriters today, I think, skip over that to a certain degree.
Yeah.
I wish I would see people actually go through that rite of passage where they learn. It should be more than a rite of passage. It's something you should really appreciate, like learning other songs, learning other people's songs is I think is a healthy, very healthy thing to do. It's like if you're going to be a better writer, you want to be better read, right?
Yeah. I love that you say healthy. I love that you say healthy, and tell me what you mean by that right there, because I agree, and I've never used quite those words for it.
Yeah, it's useful, and it'll only there's only benefits to it.
Yeah.
It'll make you a stronger writer. I mean, if you think about it, the big songwriters we always talk that are in the atmosphere, the Bob Dylan, the Beatles, their first records or their first things they ever did, they didn't do originals.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan's first records, all covers. It's all traditional songs. He went through that phase. And, the Beatles spent hours and hours in Hamburg playing covers and learning every type of genre of music.
Right.
And that made a big difference, I think, in their reach and their ability to write material.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bands that never learn, because when you perform live, especially, you have to, and this is coming from someone that's been on both sides of the fence, as a talent buyer, booker, or performer, what you're looking for, or what you're hoping to happen as a performer, and what you're hoping to see as a presenter of shows, is a musician, a performer that can change the emotional state of the room you're in, which is not an easy trick. Not a whole lot of people can genuinely do that. It's hard.
Say that again, Gus. Say that again, please, because I think you just really said something there. But oops, I think. Oh, there you are. Okay. If you could repeat that last bit, because I want to write it on a 3x5 card.
Also, performers, I mean, what you hope to see, experience as a performer and as an audience member, is for the performer to somehow change the emotional state of the room.
Wow.
And at best, make you care about something maybe you thought you didn't care about. Make you invested in something that you might otherwise be indifferent to.
Wow. Yeah. That's profound. That's profound. And I just have never heard it expressed that way. I really appreciate that. And I'm just so excited. If you're just joining us, this is Postcards. And this is where I always just my brain starts exploding at about 28 past the hour, somewhere in here. We're talking to Gus Rodriguez, AKA Silbin Sandovar, coming to us live from New York City. And we're talking about, I'm going to see if I can say it. As a performer, an audience member, talent buyer, you're looking for a performer who can change the emotional state of the room. That's powerful. That's powerful. And maybe make you care about something that you didn't care about before. Thank you for saying it like that. So I'm not even sure where to go with that. Mind blown. Also, my son just walked out the door to go back to college. So if I was slightly distracted there for a second, they literally just walked out, put the stuff in the car and left. So bye, Baxter. Baxter, I had a great show the other night, by the way. I'd love to bring him down to LIC bar sometime.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Yeah, that would be fun. I'm looking forward to that. So I wanted to, speaking of which, I want to add this picture in here and see if I can get this is a glimpse, a nice photo. I can't even tell you who took it or where it came from. This is a glimpse of the backyard on a summer's evening at LIC bar. And if you go in between these tables and you go through the door, you end up inside the bar, and behind you is a carriage house. And you have done over time, a Sunday series in the carriage house, which is attached.
Yeah, wherever the photographer is standing that took this shot, behind that person is the outdoor performance space. There's an outdoor stage,
right?
And also it's a private room. It's hard to explain. It encloses. In the summertime, it's an open stage. In the wintertime, as you experienced once, Jim, at least once, we have a little fireplace. We do intimate acoustic shows back there. It's really
That's right. There's
unique.
a fireplace in there. I forgot about that. Yeah, I've been to a couple shows. I think I came. There was a few people there, and then there. I forget who was playing after me. Somebody who brought out a ton of people, and I think the Persuasions showed up. They walked in.
That's right.
You remember that?
That's right. Yes, that was. I was kind of a famous
Irish
person.
guy.
I was
completely blanking
Lima
because I was
Munlight
not
from Hot House, the lead singer of Hot House Flowers.
like lead singer of Hot House Flowers. He just came in, and then the Persuasions walked through the door, and it was like
That was, yeah.
that was
Yeah,
an unbelievable moment. We were packed in there. There must have been 100 people packed into that little room. Yeah,
it was borderline fire hazard, but it was fun.
yeah. That's what it was. I guess it was, wasn't it?
But that's actually something that's one of the nice perks of working with LIC Bar. You do it long enough, people like it as much as they do. I'm continually humbled and surprised when someone of that stature wants to play LIC Bar, because we don't have a typical giant umbrella, or we don't have massive tentacles all over the universe reaching out to these top tier artists, but somehow every now and then they find their way to us, and they like it enough to want to come back. And I'm always humbled, because this is just a little bar, and it's not a super famous place, but people, when they discover it, they get very attached to it. And Liam Mamonlai is such a gentleman, and
Yes,
what a
Liam,
transcendent artist.
Yeah.
He's played for us a few times, and every time I greatly look forward to it. I mean, I wasn't super familiar with his work, to be truthful, and the show he puts on is just it's magic. It really is. It's just
it was a captivating night, and
that's a primo example of the emotional state being altered.
Yes.
In the space.
Yeah. That it's true. And I think part of that, and thinking about that particular evening, which is I actually, when I was getting ready for the show, I had actually kind of forgotten that happened, because I didn't stop thinking about that for days. That was a really transporting experience at your venue. Both the times I've played there have been like that. The first time, I think Carol and I played, and then there was a trio that came on afterward that was absolutely dynamite. And of course, I'm going to completely blank on the name. It was someone from the who had been in the B-52s for a long time, and he was with absolutely fabulous lady drummer. And
yes, that was Pat Irwin. Yeah,
Pat Irwin and I know.
Dahlia.
Yeah.
No. These are great people, and Sasha Dobson.
And Sasha Dobson.
Daria Grace and Pat Irwin. Pat Irwin was in the B-52s. He's in our neighborhood, and he's a local treasure, and he's gifted multi-instrumentalist. He does soundtracks for lots of famous TV shows, for Nurse Betty and things like that. And, and they were just as nice as they could be. Like, and it was a real boost for me. I remember personally, because talk about changing the emotional state of the room. I think Sasha Dobson could probably get on the drums and just do that all by her little self. Yeah. So, well, listen, let me see if we've got anybody else we need to say good morning to, but I think it might be time for another song here. We've got some clapping and agreeing going on from California, just so you know. I'm not sure which particular comment or statement, but thanks, Diggy. Appreciate it. Well, let's see. It's about 11:33. What do you think? You got another song in there? I bet you have about 100. Sure, I do.
Okay. Let's do it.
All right. This one is by Randy Newman, actually. I know it's PG-11. That's one of his guys.
Yay. Oh, it's okay. You can just, here's the thing about PG-11. We all make mistakes.
No, I'll be careful.
Sing a song of long ago, when things were green and moving slow. People stop and say hello, and they'd say hi to you. Would you like to come over for tea with the missus and me? It's a real nice way to spend the day in Dayton, Ohio, on a lazy Sunday afternoon in 1903. Sing a song of long ago, when things were green and things moved quietly Would you like to come over for tea with the missus and me? It's a real nice way to spend the day in Dayton, Ohio, on a lazy Sunday afternoon in 1903. Would you like to come over for tea with the missus and me? It's a real nice way to spend the day in Dayton, Ohio, on a lazy Sunday afternoon in 1903.
Oh yeah. Silbin Sandovar, Gus Rodriguez here on Postcards. That was beautiful. And I just love how you have absorbed Randy Newman's some of Randy Newman's vocal styling when you're sharing that. Are you a really good mimic? Can you do like Bart Simpson or something like that?
Eat my shorts.
Eat my shorts.
Oh, that wasn't PG-11, was it?
No, I think Eat My Shorts is totally PG-11. Can you imagine an 11-year-old saying that? Yes, you can. Silbin Sandovar, Gus Rodriguez here on Postcards. Quick shout out. We got another listener saying hello, Carolyn Hinsky and David Hinsky coming to us live from Illinois. Nice to hear you. Nice to see your name pop up. So I got a couple questions for you about records growing up. What was on the record player when you were growing up, or were you a radio guy, or how did music come into your world?
Well, I was born in the border of the 70s and the 80s. So I was born in 72. So I sort of absorbed both. It was an interesting vantage point because I was able to I saw both the vinyl and the CD area, even some of the 8-track era.
Yeah.
And
I remember the 8-tracks.
Yeah, and my parents, we didn't agree on music that much. Well, there were certain things we all agreed on. We all liked Motown and Simon and Garfunkel. We liked that. But then my parents also liked stuff that I didn't like as much. Like they liked a lot of easy listening 70s stuff that I didn't care for at the time. Like it was like Anne Murray or
right.
What do you call it?
The
Roger
Carpenters.
Ware. I like the Carpenters.
Carpenters, okay.
But they listened to Neil Diamond. I didn't really care for as a kid. It kind of got on my nerves.
Yeah.
But so I finally found my own little taste, and I bought vinyl until I was about 13 or 14. Then CDs came out.
Right.
And switched over. But I've always collected. I still have a lot of records. I love records.
Yeah.
But as a kid, yeah, my mom. The earliest memory I remember hearing like "Don't Go Breaking My Heart" by Elton John, and being on radio, or Juice Newton.
Juice
being
Newton.
on the car radio.
There's a name I haven't heard in a minute.
Or Captain Tennille, "Love Will Keep Us Together." I remember hearing those songs as a little
I
kid.
had the 45 of that. I was obsessed with that song when I was a girl, and I got the 45. Yeah. It had Muskrat Love on the other side.
I felt that was just omnipresent as a kid. I heard it all over the place. And it's very earliest musical memory.
Yeah, cool. So that's a very broad range of early influences, and one of the reasons that I love to talk about that is because I don't know, maybe not everybody's the same, but I do believe that these early musical influences and how broad a kid's listening world is, or is allowed to be, or is cultivated by parents, or however it happens, that this has a long-term impact. I mean, I didn't think part of the reason I brought that up is a couple years ago, I went back and listened to Jim Croce's Life and Times. Maybe that was another vinyl record in your house. A lot of people had that record, especially because he passed away tragically at such a young age after having laid down some really, really great music. Super tight, very deeply rooted in very old school country and blues and rock and roll music. But I went back and listened to that record and I was like, oh my God, I did not realize how deep of an influence that record had on my own future playing decades later. You know, I hadn't even
Great
really,
stuff.
yeah, it's really good stuff. And okay, so here's one more question for you. If you're just joining us, by the way, this is Postcards and welcome to the show. We're talking with Gus Rodriguez from New York City, talent buyer, singer, songwriter, performer, music thinker, mensch, etc. Wonderful human being. Glad to have you here, Gus. And you can find his music, Silbin Sandovar, on Spotify. Now, I know when we talked last time, it was last winter sometime, we talked, you told me the origin of your stage name, but maybe you could tell that again for our listeners today.
It's nonsense.
It is?
Yeah, you're nonsense. I just kept, I wanted to have a name no one else had, so I just kept writing absurd names into Google till one got no results, and that was it.
So it's a completely made up name.
Yeah.
That's it? Love it. I love it.
I said,
yeah. So this was a Google splat kind of a thing where you just kept, wow, that's great. Kept throwing Google wall until nothing came back at you. I got it. That's cool. I like it. I've never heard of anybody doing that. You might be the first. We got another listener here. Greetings from the Heartland, Diana Griffin Ennis. She's a wonderful lady out there, Heartland Song Network. Check them out. Nice to see you, Diana. And Emily Hansen had a comment. Eddie Rabbit. There's a blast
Eddie
from the
Rabbit.
past.
He definitely heard it. I Love a Rainy Night. And
that's right. That was it. I love a rainy night. I think about that song a lot, actually. Whenever it's raining and the windshield wipers are going. Maybe that was a different song. What was the one about the windshield wipers?
You're right. That's absolutely right. The windshield wipers keep in time. But it's also Chris Christopherson's line like that, right?
Is that right? Okay.
But so does Eddie Rabbit. That's a line in that song too.
I think okay. Thank you for validating that, because I think about that song every single time it's raining and I've got the music playing. I'm like, is it happening? Is it happening? And maybe like once or twice in my life, it's actually happened.
That was a song my parents played a lot. I Love a Rainy Night. I remember that as a kid.
Yeah.
But I like some of his stuff.
Yeah.
He started out writing for Elvis Presley too.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was his big break. Wow. He wrote some hits for Elvis Presley.
Yeah, cool. You know, one of my favorite songwriters from Maine, of course, now Claude Demetrius, who was born in Bath, Maine, which is about 45 minutes north of here. I got a bunch of friends up there. Neat town. It's where a lot of the Navy builds their ships, actually, the Bath Iron Works. But Claude Demetrius wrote a number of songs. My favorite of which is "Hard-Headed Woman," which was made.
Oh yeah, of course.
As well. So there's a little connection. I'm finding the connections. They're everywhere. But a lot of people don't know his name because he became famous from writing for Elvis and Wanda Jackson and some other people. Actually, was a New Yorker. He moved to New York City, and someday I'm going to write a book about him. Maine
That's amazing.
New York. Isn't that cool? I know.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So, you know the song I'm talking about. Have you ever seen?
Absolutely, I do. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Do you know? Have you ever seen I think I don't know if it was the Ed Sullivan Show or what it was, but there's a black and white video of Wanda Jackson playing "Hard-Headed Woman" on YouTube that's to die for. That's the version that I fell in love with. She's such a knockout. I just love her.
Big fan. I have her autograph here somewhere.
You have Wanda Jackson's autograph. Okay. I'm a bigger fan of you now than ever, Gus. I didn't know that.
Oh, that's great.
She is. She's dynamite. She was a real trailblazer. So it's amazing how all these people are connected. You know, it's so there's what happens when you say Eddie Rabbit, Emily Hansen. We go off on a tangent like that. If you're just joining us, welcome to Postcards. I'm here with Gus Rodriguez, also known as Silbin Sandovar, when he's playing on stage and he's about to sing another song. That's your cue to think about that. If you want to write us a postcard, we will read it on the show on Mondays. We have Mondays, we do a whole bunch of fun stuff from the Postcard Studio. We do have a new mail area now. See right here, if you send me your postcard, it'll get hung in the new mail area and get read on Mondays. We have a topic for this week, next week. Write it. There's no deadline, but just get it on a postcard and put a stamp on it. Dreams, goals, resolutions. And I'm going to touch on that before we go home today. You can write to us, P.O. Box 1252, Westbrook, Maine 04098. And we'd love to get you involved in what we're doing here on Postcards. So, y'all tuned up? Okay, what you got for us, Gus?
I got this one since we talked about where my name come from.
Yeah, awesome.
I googled my own name to see what I could find, see what I can investigate. But all I got was a zero results. Oh, someone had to tell it to me straight. I felt real fine going down the line, zooming down life's interstate. Took you to explain it was only in the passing lane. Someone had to tell it to me straight. And that's when things got rough. Reality came spoiling all of you. And as if that wasn't bad enough, I'm not getting any love from you. I was about to set the world on fire just before I could demonstrate. I'm glad you took the trouble to finally burst my bubble. Ooh, someone had to tell it to me straight.
Sorry, this is taking me a minute. Oh my goodness. Let me just get back in here. Awesome. Gus Rodriguez, Silbin Sandovar here on Postcards. That's a great one. I love it. I don't know if you played that last time. That's fun. Okay, I got a question for you. This is one of the things I've noticed about your playing over time, even with the vicissitudes of the interweb, slowing and speeding things up and all that kind of stuff that happens from time to time, right? With live streaming, your rhythm is so solid. And I'm curious about, have you played with bands a lot? Like, have you played with drummers a lot? Do you practice with a metronome? Like, how did you get that solid?
Just from doing it. I mean, I do play with bands, and I never used metronome, but I do play with bands, and yes, playing with drummers long enough, you learn discipline, I guess, not to speed up too much. And
Yeah.
I used to make all those same. Sometimes I still do if I get carried away.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I think one of the reasons like I bring that up is because I think when people are getting started as performers, there's and also I find this when I'm teaching, it never goes out of style to pay attention to how solid your rhythm is. People don't think about it as something that makes a performer great, or makes a performer good. Not everybody thinks about that as being as important as it is. I don't know. Does that make sense to you? I feel like people want to leave it in the rearview mirror and just think that they can forget about that. But when I hear somebody,
what's going to help you out as a performer. I mean, and also I should add, I had to kind of learn to be a little more dynamic. Not much of a solo or lead player really, so I had to be. I do a lot of solo performances where it's often where I'm just dropped into a room and I have to somehow entertain people I don't know that have never met me or don't know anything about me. Yeah. So what's going to help you is if you have you can produce some kind of groove. Even if you're doing a ballad, if you have a little groove in there that goes a long way towards like reeling them in. Yeah. So you want to have something that people can kind of hook on to and move a little bit too. So I care about those kind of things. Interesting.
So if I understand what you're saying, I think I know the gigs you're talking about. These are like the 3 to 5 hour gigs where you show up and you play covers. You play covers, and you need to keep people engaged. And I have another friend, actually, my friend Jojo Napai, who lives in California now. She's a singer-songwriter. She grew up in the Philippines, and when she was young, she's about 70 now. When she was young, she for a couple of years had 7 nights a week. She was playing 4 to 5 hours in a restaurant in Manila. Like that was her job. Yeah. That's what she did. And all these years later, you can still hear it the same way that I'm hearing it in your playing of just like that deeply solid groove creation that you have intentionally cultivated. But she has that same kind of a thing going. It's like it's the I don't know. You can call it the 10,000 hours or whatever, but
it's also the hellhound on your trail. It's sort of like, I gotta light the fuse. I gotta move it. There's got to be some energy here. It's up to me to create the energy or the performer. So there's urgency, I guess. Yeah. So
I'm sorry. I'm just so excited right now. I'm sorry if I'm talking over you. The delay between here and New York, we're feeling it a little bit. Yeah, sorry. So, when you talk about groove, the things that come to mind are the solidity of the rhythm and also what's going on with your right hand. Like you've got a really solid right hand. And so when you talk about creating a groove, are those the things you're thinking about, or is there another aspect to that?
It's not even a thinking thing anymore, honestly. I just it's sort of innate at this point. If I think about it too much, I'll fall off the bicycle.
Okay, don't do that. Not on the air. Okay, do it later, but not right now. Okay. I didn't know you were on a bicycle, but now I know.
Oh, I'm on a unicycle actually.
Wow. Okay.
This whole show.
Well,
I'm sitting on a unicycle.
So, wow, impressive. We're talking to Gus Rodriguez, aka Silbin Sandovar, coming to us live from a unicycle in Queens, New York City. You were in Queens, right? Is that right? Yeah. Are you in NYC? Are you right around the corner from the bar?
I'm about 10 minutes away from the bar. Yeah. I'm in the LIC. I'm the board. My zip code is LIC, but I'm more in a neighborhood called Sunnyside. I'm closer to. I'm like in between the midpoint between Carol and Paul and the bar.
Okay, got you. Okay, I can kind of visualize that. I haven't been to Paul's new house yet, but Paul's.
Oh, it's already moved. I forgot. All right.
Yeah, they moved to. I can't remember where they are now, but they were in Jackson Heights. But
they're not.
Now they're in a different neighborhood. Paul Trust, wonderful bass player, mensch, another mensch, another New York music mensch right there. Let me tell you.
Paul.
Hey, Paul. What's up, Paul? I got to give a shout out to Johnny Myers and
Johnny Meyer. Oh,
Seth
Meyer.
Goldberg, and all my friends down in New York City. I love and miss you guys. I had a great reunion, actually. Sorry I didn't get to see you, but I broke my leg last summer, and I was like, okay, I think I can do New York, because in New York, you got to be able to walk on your feet in New York, and if you don't, you got to be really prepared and know what you're doing. But I gotta, when you go to New York with guitars and so forth, we had a great time at E77 right there in Jackson Heights, just saying hi, howdy to each other, playing some songs back in October. Got to see my new pal Rory Kelly. I don't know if you know Rory.
I do know. Yeah, I didn't know you knew Rory Kelly. She's great.
I met Rory Kelly because of live streaming. She's got a fabulous Monday Night Muses. Unfortunately, her cat was at the vet on Monday night this week, so she wasn't there. And Diggy was supposed to be on there. And Diggy's in our chat room. It's all connected, Gus. That's what I'm talking about.
Music makes your world smaller. It really does.
It really does.
If you play music or you work with music, you'll know everybody after a certain.
It's the truth. It's the truth. We had a nice.
Yeah, Rory's great.
Yeah, Rory's a dynamo, and she that voice. And she's got a really great production setup for her live streaming, and she's really got it dialed in. And she does this great Monday Night Muses where she gets somebody else on, and then afterwards she does a set. And what a chick she is. So, well, we're getting close to it. Do you want to take us out with a song? I did
Sure.
want to. I had one other little topic briefly to touch on. Nothing big, just dreams, goals, and resolutions. But how do you relate to that whole in a nutshell? Like how do you relate to that whole big thing that supposed to happen on the 1st of January?
Not a small amount of pressure, but I'm not anti-resolutions. New Year's resolutions. I think it's we use the word healthy again.
Yeah.
It's a healthy thing to have aspirations, I think.
Yeah.
So I aspire, and I'm not just for myself, but for other people too. I hope for other people to have a better year and good health and all the good things. And
yeah,
I do. I sincerely do.
Yeah. Right on.
You want me to do one more song?
I'd love for you to do one more song. And I just realized, just to say, Rory Kelly and Diggy Cat and Ayla Faye and Lucky Lamont from Vufcup Records are going to be on the show next week. So anyway,
awesome. You don't want to miss that, folks.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Gus, it's been awesome to chat with you. I'm so glad to get to connect with you again. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing you this spring or summer down in the city.
Yeah.
We're sprung from our jail called Omicron, and
it'll happen. We'll see each other again.
Yeah, totally. Well, listen, thanks for being here. Thanks for making the time. Thanks for saying yes for the second time. Take it away.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah. Oh, my pleasure. And you can follow, before we hear this last song, just let you know, you can follow Gus's music you can follow him on Instagram. You can also follow him on Spotify. He's got some recordings up there that you're going to love. And just so happy to have you here. Take it away, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Jenny. Well, I'm tired and so weary, but I must move along. The Lord comes and calls me away. Oh yes, and the morning is bright, and the Lamb is alive, and the night is as black as the sea. Oh yes, there'll be peace in the valley for me someday. There'll be peace in the valley for me, dear Lord, I pray. There'll be no sadness, no sorrow, no trouble I see. There'll be peace in the valley for me.
For the bear shall be gentle, and the wolf shall be tame, and the lion will lay down with the lamb. Oh yes, and a beast from the wild will be led by a child, and I'll be changed from this creature that I am. Oh yes, there'll be peace in the valley for me someday. There'll be peace in the valley for me, dear Lord, I pray. There'll be no sadness, no sorrow, no trouble I see. There'll be peace in the valley for me. There'll be peace in the valley for me someday. There'll be peace in the valley for me, dear Lord, I pray. There'll be no sadness, no sorrow, no trouble I see. There'll be peace in the valley for me, for me.
All right. One more thank you to you, Gus. And thanks everybody for tuning in. And we will see you next Monday and Thursday. And Gus, I will see you in the city. Thanks so much for being here.